We the everyday common folk, working people out there. These laborers. You play the game when you working for them.
Who you talking to like that?
Nasty.
Talking to your ass.
Damn, y'all look good in the government check.
Yeah.
And now, the spot on SoFloRadio.com. Bitches.
All right, y'all. This is the spot right here on SoFloRadio.com. I am one Jack Frost, and I am privileged to bring the new staples of South Florida out here with me at the spot. It's a pleasure of mine. If you haven't been to South Florida in recent times, then you don't know about this man's cooking, because I'm hooked. My family is hooked. To the one and only Crab Man305 fell off in the spot right here on SoFloRadio.com. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right in yourself.
Man, I'm happy to be here. And of course, I'm not doing anything if I'm not showing any love to the sensational, tantalizing Sizzle. Talk to her.
See, I'm tantalizing.
No, I had to give her an applause.
Oh, hey.
So let's talk about some serious matters that we got going on in the next next week rather.
Next week?
The panel discussion that we're speaking on this. I mean, it's been going on for years, all the way back to McDuffie, what happened to Mike Brown, with police brutality. But tell the people, why do you feel now is the time to bring this attention to something that's very severe to us right now in the black community?
Well, right now, it seems like every other day we're hearing about a black individual that get killed at the hands of the police, and it's time that we do something about it. Mm-hmm. We might not be able to do that on a worldwide scale right now, but if we start within our own community,
right,
we're able to process and grow.
Okay, how do you feel that we could combat that? Because, growing up in this community, all of us have grown up in this community. We know how we can be. We know how we don't embrace change, especially when it's for the betterment of everybody.
Well, the way to do that, we have to take our rage and use it the right way. You see the riots, you see people going on killing sprees, stuff like that. But it starts with the politicians, people that we vote into office. Pretty much they should be doing what we say, right. But the people's voice is never heard, so it's kind of hard to get your point across if you don't know how to get it across.
Right.
And the way you do that is with votes. Mm-hmm. One thing a politician don't want is bad publicity when it's time to be elected.
Well, I'll play the role of an ignorant person, right? Like, I don't know any better. What if a person says, well, they're going to be there for 3 or 4 years. So I got to wait till this cycle goes through and we go through this whole runaround again.
Well, not necessarily, because what happens, you have different elections every 2 years. Mm-hmm. So what you do is put the pressure on the politicians that's coming up for the election. Mm-hmm. So what we have to start doing is just educating on ourselves on who we're voting for. You can't go and vote because it's a black man or there's somebody that your grandma voted for. Mm-hmm. You have to actually get the facts yourself. Mm-hmm. So what we're hoping to do is bring out some of these people that's going up for re-election and let them hear what the people have to say.
Okay, Sizzle, you're the one that's going to be controlling this.
I am.
Like, what are some of the things that you want to accomplish through this?
Through the show next week?
Right.
What I'm looking to do is find an answer. If we find an answer, we'll find a solution. Mm-hmm. I want to know exactly what is going on in the minds of I want to talk about the police officers and the police brutality issues. I want to talk about the majority of the crime that's going on in our own backyards. Mm-hmm. And I also want to see if I can touch on how our minds would sway toward solving problems, the bigger issues of the country, where we have all these different Mike Brown situations, Trayvon Martin situations, but yet we have my nephew, my niece, my cousin being killed, gunned down, sought out like animals right here in my own yard. How are we going to address this? How are we going to fix this? What are we doing to try to protect them and take back our communities ourselves?
I guess both of you are parents. I'd like to hear your views, or at least uncles and nephews, your views when you see what when you let those kids go out the door. What could happen is unknown. Like, what is that feeling?
Well, me personally, I really don't think about it. The reason being because you really don't have control over situations that happen. I mean, you could try to prevent it the best you can, but let's say, hey, I teach my kids right or wrong, I do this and that. And one day, you might get in a car accident, might be somebody come by on a shooting spree or whatever. So stuff like that, you really have to leave in God's hands. You can't say, oh, I'm gonna keep my child in the house and keep them safe. You might get a home invasion.
Right.
And that's really not teaching them for the real world. I teach my kids for real life situations. Nephew, nieces, look, if you do this the consequences of it. You know,
right.
I was blessed to make it off the streets, to get a business, you know, live my life totally different than I lived 10 years ago. So, you know, I try to educate the younger brothers, sisters on not to take that same path, but experience is the best teacher from it.
Right.
Don't keep bumping your head.
Right.
So it's really nothing that you could say that'll prevent them from doing it. You can just give them the knowledge and understanding of what they're doing and the consequences that come behind it.
Sizzle, as a mother?
I have a son. I always talk about my son and how out of control my son was. He's now 28, and somewhere back there, my prayers, my sister's prayers, my father's prayers, and her prayers were answered. He could care less about the streets. He don't care about guns. He's not worried about anything. All he cares about is not what being a family man now. And by him being 28, my thanks goes to God for allowing him to beat the odds. Not many of them make 28, especially coming out of Opalaka, living in the streets, being raised by the streets. I actually thought I would lose I prayed diligently. Everybody that knows me knows not to call my phone after 11, 12 o'clock. I almost have a heart attack if my phone was to ring, because I know my son.
Right.
But I always had this sense of responsibility for him being as crazy as I like to call it, as crazy as he was, because at 9 years old, it's died down a lot. Kids finding guns and killing their kids, and, you know, killing other kids or shooting themselves. Well, that was big at one time.
Right.
Now, I said I would pull a curiosity out of him, and I taught him to shoot. I took him to the gun range at 9 years old. We taught them to shoot guns all day, every day at home. Me and my twin brothers. And now I snatched the fear out of him, but I didn't know that I was putting another demon in him. So now all of that is gone. I prayed that away from him. I don't want any credit for it, but he doesn't have it anymore. So I want to be able to talk to other mothers that feel like they want to be their children's friend and do things for their children. I know these things. I've done, you name it, I've done it for my son, and it backfired on me. So I don't want anybody else to go that route.
That's a couple of things I'd like to talk about, because you two individuals are like I said, you're building yourself to be staples in this community, because I saw where you started the business from. You know, I done bought, you know, a couple of plates, and from the house, to see where you're at now is something that, you know, I sought out before we had Dr. Umar Johnson. I was trying to get you on the show. You know what I'm saying? Because that is something that I really think highly of in Sizzle. The word gets around about Sizzle After Dark and some of the things that happens with Sizzle. But what started it, you know, as far as the business and the vision for the business, for it to go from where it went to where it's at now?
Well, with cooking, it was more of a pastime. I wouldn't say, you know, I never went to cooking school. I never had a grandma that could get in the kitchen and just love to cook. It actually started off as a competition with me and that gentleman over there. You know, football Sundays, we just get in the kitchen, get on the grill, cook. And then when it got to a competition where every week we start creating new dishes. So I always use cooking as a way to get side money. You know, I did the catering for 3 years before we actually went into business. So my cousin, he came to me one day and was like, "You just need to start cooking every day." And I was like, "Who want to be in the kitchen in the heat all day?"
All day.
So I said, "You know what? I'll try it." And he was like, "You need to add crabs to your menu." So went, got the crabs. The first day we opened up, I think we made like $387 or something like that. So I was like, it's cool. It ain't no pressure,
Right.
but it's money. So at the time I was remodeling houses, but the market had crashed. So once I picked up into the food, I think like that first weekend we made like $1,000 that Friday night. Big shout out to Sizzle because she was inspirational in getting the word spread it because she was Instagram crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Shout out to you on that one.
She was
because-
like Crab Man305 and posted it all day long.
we're looking at them dishes and it's like, nah, it can't be the real thing until you get the real thing, and it's like, all right, let me get another plate. Now, for the haters, what would you say to them? For the ones that they'll see you posting pictures outside of dishes, they'll see you like at the Jay-Z concert or at Ruth Chris. They'll look at it and be like, well, okay, I'm glad I see my money going to use. You know what I'm saying? But what would you tell them?
Well,
That would want you to differentiate the two, your personal and your business.
the personal and the business, me personally, I separate it. On Instagram, we have like 3 people that actually run the account.
Okay.
So a lot of times when you see us out, it's actually business. Because either we're catering the food at certain events or we're getting paid to advertise certain events.
Right.
So it's always business. You might see a plate where you might see Ruth Chris or you might see certain restaurants. But a lot of them restaurants are actually fans of ours.
Wow.
So when we go there, the chef brings us in the kitchen, give us a tour and say they doing this, doing that. And we looking like really?
What does that feel like?
I mean, sometimes you could kind of picture on the moon. Because these people that I might feel is a better cook, or I won't say a better cook, might know more because that's actually what they've been trained in. And when they say, "Hey, I mind what you doing," I'm like, all I do is cook crab.
Yeah.
No seafood. At the end of
Right.
the day, I can't throw a pepper up in the air and hit it like a samurai chef.
Yeah.
And
All the extra
all
stuff.
the extra stuff.
Yeah.
You got all these videos where they could get in the kitchen and I could create some stuff. You can give me a stick of butter, a sweet potato, and
Make something happen.
make something happen, and you'll love it.
Can you run down to Publix real quick?
But
Sizzle.
I'm starving.
But I take what I do, and I take it back to the streets. It was a gift for the hustle.
Right.
I feel like if I wake up in the morning with 1,000 pair of women's shoes, I'm gonna sell 100 pair tomorrow at least.
There you go. Well, Sizzle, on your end, your hustle is multimedia. Now, what got you started, and how long has it been that Sizzle's been doing her thing?
Don't stop.
Stop it. Actually, Sizzle is not brand new. I've been a part of the industry. That Sizzle has been a part of the industry since I was 21 years old.
Okay.
And I used to dance on quite a few sectors. I've always been a public person. I've always been a socialist and a people person. So, and you might as well say a realist. I never cut corners. It absolutely is what it is. So I was sitting in my living room one day. I said, I can't deal with this. I ain't got nothing else to do. This one gave me my first topic. She gave me my first topic. I think we were on the phone arguing about men that have women on the side. She has one view and I have another one. He got her on the side. You think about it. You got your entree, Ruth Chris, Crab Man305. Wherever you go, you don't just go there and say, just drop a piece of steak on the plate and bring it to me. No, you need your potatoes. You need your
sides,
macaroni.
your fixings, yeah.
You need everything that comes with
You're fixing.
that. You need your fixings. Here I am. So she hated that. So I said, I'm gonna get her. I gotta get her. And it was down, it snowballed from there.
You know what? I definitely have to have you on the he say versus she say show.
That right there.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
they know if they hear you say I'm coming, they ain't coming.
Yeah, we'll work something out.
They ain't gonna come.
We'll have you back in the spot. I have both of y'all back in the spot, but you know, like I said, this important panel discussion that y'all got going on with police brutality is I don't even want to make it sound like it's a brand new thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like it just happens on so many instances where you're being told you're not worth it. I mean, your opinion and whatever you have to say, you could be speaking reasonably, not even raising your voice, and you're not considered a human being, or your dollars ain't long enough. And that's why I think the show that you guys are having next week is very much needed.
Absolutely.
And I hope, you know, these officials that you got, the officers and whatever, they really do answer some of these questions, you know, because I know you heard of the Blue Line, right?
I have not heard of
The Blue Line, that's the fraternity that the police go by.
Oh yeah,
you don't cross
that
the
blue line. I've heard of that.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, we all on some level have officers or somebody in law enforcement in our family, and you know there are good ones out there, but they can't snitch. They can't tell on, you know, the other ones. So that's an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, they have a loyalty amongst each other
Right.
that no matter what it is, good or bad, they're gonna hold it. They
Right.
won't speak on it.
And that's to the detriment of us as a people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how Freddie Gray could, by himself, fracture his spinal cord in 4 different places, as they said. So, you know, we'll see how that all plays out.
Even with that situation, you know how many times you got to actually hit your head against the wall before you pass out?
Now I can say this, and I hope I don't get beat up about this when I get outside, but I've been in the paddy wagons before. They don't use regular nuts and bolts from your Home Depot. I've been in jail cells. They don't use your normal nuts and bolts. I don't know that paddy wagon, but I do know that they have bolts in the they bolt everything down with bolts about this big. Am I lying? Bolts about this big,
Right.
and it looked like it has cement around it, so it can't be
Tampa
compromise exactly.
Right.
So now if that was in the van and he kept hitting his head on that, I would probably no.
The new paddy wagons have the shell, the plastic on the inside.
So it's no nuts and bolts.
Nah. You got arrested in the 80s.
Let the people know where they could find you, and of course they'll be catching you next Wednesday, the 13th.
Next Thursday. Next Thursday night.
Thursday
Yes,
night.
next
Okay, the
Thursday
14th.
night at 8:00. I would suggest you be there between 7 and 8 because the doors will close. I won't be able to film with everybody walking in and out. So I'm suggesting that everyone is there between 7 and 8. I will have an open forum where the audience will be able to address any issues that they have.
Right.
I believe we'll have refreshments.
Oh, we should.
We should have refreshments. Will we have anything to drink?
I'm not sure. It all depends on how many requests we get for the show. We gotta have the people come out.
I might wind up buying a case of Czech sodas. But anyway, yes, I need everyone there at that time. And what I plan to address is how we put ourselves in situations like that. So this might get a little heated.
Okay.
Because there are times we put ourselves in situations. I didn't say Freddie Gray did or didn't. I know there are times we put ourselves in situations where the police officers can act up. Just comply sometimes. You don't have to. Every police officer isn't out there to kill you. Right. There are some, and it's a lot of them, but not all of them. Just comply. Don't give a person a reason to.
Exactly. That's the key thing. Don't give them a reason.
Exactly. So we'll be able to address all of that, and that will be Thursday night, and that is at the GL Gaskin Center. It's 5525 Northwest 7th Avenue.
Okay.
That is right in front of Popeye's door. We Popeye's right in front
Across
of the
the
studio.
street, yeah.
Exactly, right across the street. There's parking on the side and there's parking in the back. So I suggest everyone is there between 7 and 7:45.
And where can everybody follow you?
I am Essential Sizzle on Facebook, Essential Sizzle on Facebook, and Instagram. Do I have Instagram manager?
I'll make one. I thought you had one.
Essential Sizzle on Facebook.
That says after dark, right?
No.
Not over there for this, sir.
We gonna get into that whole Sizzle After Dark next time you come on the show.
When am I coming back? Cause, honey.
Hey, we'll talk to your manager because we'll get you for one of these he say versus she say shows. It gets kind of explicit.
When are they?
I
don't curse. I'm trying to get in heaven.
Oh well, it's internet. We cuss all day, so I guess you'll be the only saint off in here. We do it like once a month.
I come after choir rehearsal. What day you said?
Careful what you say, Jay. Let them know where they can find you if they don't already know by now.
You can find me at Crab Man305, Instagram Crab Man305, Facebook Johnny Fannin. You can find me all over. You can find me
through Sizzle.
Dark.
Exactly.
You can find me at Networking Expo that just left.
Yep. With Dana.
You can find me at Take One on Tuesday nights. Well, I gotta take one. I gotta advertise. You can find me North Dade Bulldogs, 8U head coach.
What you say? Bulldogs, huh?
Bulldogs.
Yeah, them Vikes.
I must mention that I am shooting Sizzle After Dark on Monday night. So be in studio, same address, 5525 Northwest 7th Avenue. That's at 7 o'clock.
Give the people the difference between Sizzle, the show, and Sizzle After Dark. What they expect.
Sizzle After Dark is no holds barred, period. It is what it is, and that's just that. I mean, I don't play games. I'm sorry. I got to give it to you real raw and uncut in Sizzle After Dark. That's why it's After Dark.
Right.
It's adult. It's edgy. It's to the point. It's everything you're afraid of. Basically, I am that voice in your head. Whatever you're afraid to say, or you just don't want to say, or you can't say because of your job, I got your back. Essential Sizzle is pretty much me with a brain, me with an education, me that you see in church. Exactly. That me you see at Antioch.